That's about 50 minutes prior to when he was killed. Those are the last words ever recorded of Bart Halderson. His phone is never used, really. I mean, again,
wait, I thought the other
dies at
thing
some
was the
point.
last words that Bart was ever recorded with Omar.
Well, yeah, well, I think they meant audio, and then these are the last words he typed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's what he meant, but it's just not what he said.
Well, no, but I mean, you know, I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, he sort of said, "Son, do you want to tell me what's going on here? Because you're already in trouble, but do you want to make it easy on yourself or hard on yourself?"
Yeah, it's like at what degree level of whooping do you want at this juncture? And I don't care that he's 20 something years old.
Oh, yeah. Again, have you seen his calves compared to his dad's? Chandler's gonna, he's got little bird bones. I mean, he'll probably fall and trip and break his ankle.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, yeah. Oh dear.
Goes back to work. No one ever sees him. The neighborhood he lives in, riddled with security cameras, never see him again.
Riddled? I don't think you want to use riddled. You could say full of, you know, but riddled sounds diseased with cameras. Actually,
I don't think you could use the word riddled either, considering how many pieces there were.
With bullets? I mean,
well, I mean, from what it seems like, I don't think he was riddled. I mean, apparently all that hand-to-eye coordination that he was working on in Tarkov paid off.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
I'm ready whenever you are. What the evidence will show in this case is that sometime after the "I'm ready whenever you are" message, and probably just around 3 o'clock when he was supposed to go to this meeting with MATC, Bart Halderson was shot in the back multiple times with a high-powered rifle. And after shooting his dad, Chandler texts his mom, "Dad's phone died. Text or call me. And get soda on your way home. I have an extra hour of work." You know he didn't have an extra.
What an absolute jackass. So right at the end of her life, well, she doesn't know it, but she's still going to be getting him a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. I mean,
what a douche.
Picking Dr. Pepper Mo is probably the greatest thing ever, just because, you know, the whole 23 flavors and things, especially with the barbecue that's going to happen.
God. No, I'm more pissed off that he's making her because she sounds like she's selfless and she does everything for him. And he's like, "Mom, look, I'm over here trying to dismember Dad. Would you please bring me home a pop?"
Yeah. I mean, she does sound like a very typical, like, will do anything for you mother. She sounds like she was a great mother. I know there's some debate whether or not she was a helicopter parent or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it's like, she seems like she was a wonderful mother that cared about her kids.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this really sad, actually.
Yeah. Well, and he makes the final act, that she does, a selfless act of service. So, Chandler, I truly believe this, but your mom went to extra heaven after she passed away, and you're going to be going, well, I'm afraid that there's a level of hell that looks just like Darrell Brooks, and you're going to be stuck with him for forever.
Yeah. In Fort Grounds.
Some people use Dr. Pepper. I thought, so my brain read that as, some people put people in their Dr. Pepper. Which,
I mean, there's probably somebody that does.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Hour of work. But he was delaying her getting there because the evidence will show he needed to move things around, prepare for what he was about to do when she showed up. She responds K.I. Ken, smiley face. Those are the last words of Krista Halderson alive. Shortly thereafter, around just after 5, neighborhood security cameras, the Haldersons didn't have one, but the neighborhood, a lot of people did, show Krista pulling in, getting out of the car, walking in. She's never seen again until her legs are found out by the Wisconsin River. But just after killing his mom and his dad, the evidence in this case will show that Chandler went on his phone. If you go on your phone, I don't know if any of you have ever taken a note. You can take notes on your phone. iPhone has an app called Notes. We got some raw data, and I'll put it up here in a second. I won't put the raw data because it's a bit challenging to see. But Chandler creates a note about 5:11 that day on July 1st, probably minutes after killing his parents. And the note reads, "Weekend chores, H2O2 lemon."
What?
H2O2 is the chemical name for hydrogen peroxide. You'll hear from people in this case, it's essentially a household cleaner to clean up blood. Lemon, it deodorizes.
It's also a wound debrider and a mouthwash. So, okay.
It's good for a lot of things, actually.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have put the chemical name down. In fact, I probably wouldn't have even spelled the correct, like, English word right, but my phone would understand what I mean.
Maybe this is where what's his name, Joel Guy, got his inspiration from, is to make sure you write everything down.
I think Joel Guy was before him, so maybe he watched Joel Guy Jr.'s trial, and he's like, I better not make a murder notebook. I'm going to put a note on my phone, and then I could factory reset it before anyone finds out.
Yeah, and just not, like, making sure it doesn't sync to the cloud.
Well, you know how Sarah Boone probably pushed delete on her laptop and thought that made the phone just clear.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I think that Sarah Boone could hit delete on, and her laptop's not one of them.
True.
Things mixed together, it's a pretty cheap cleaning product you can have at home. So Chandler writes a note after murdering his parents. H2O2 lemon. Door handles. Move your shit upstairs, get a job, and clean the floor. He then does just that. Spends the afternoon cleaning the house, eventually jumps in the shower. We know he's in the shower because his girlfriend and him.
Yeah, I won't be covering that one because I don't need to put, have to use my bail money fund for that absolute boil on the butt of humanity. Besides, I think I'd nuke my channel. Have you seen, so it's a big story, but this dad made his son run on a treadmill to the point that his injuries are either falling off or possibly not feeding him, and long-term injuries, well, just tearing on his body from that. And I was like, oh, no, I cannot. No, look, I don't want to have to go to prison for
I think
Lorena bobbing someone.
Yeah, I think I saw like a video clip and I was like, I don't understand what this is, what is happening here. And then I saw him fall down or whatever. And so then I started to read what was going on. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that either.
No.
Like
No.
Yeah, that's another one of those. It's like things with kids. No, man, I'm good.
So I make a distinction, like with the Groves case, that wouldn't be something I generally would cover, but because of the state prosecutor turning into an avenging angel and the interesting legal thought about, can a wife say that she was completely and totally the only perpetrator of this unaliving, and then the husband work out? Note, it did not.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things with that one, and that one, yes, the prosecutor definitely turned into an avenging angel, which that was very cool to see because, like, I think with probably most of the people here, we have seen a lot of trials recently that
Yeah.
don't go that way, and a lot of prosecutors who are not great. So it's nice
Yeah.
when you see a good one like that. So
Yeah. It's
Him FaceTime when they're in the shower. No judgment, but that's what happened. And the girlfriend took a screenshot. We know he's in the shower. They say they're good nights, and Chandler says, "I'm going to bed."
Wait, do you mean that there exists a nude and in the shower picture of Chandler, and this chick hasn't made like bunch of bank on, the merch for the last, Chandler in the Wild picture?
the last Mr. Winky picture.
Can you imagine this poor cat, even if she wouldn't notice, her nose if it wasn't on her face, what a tremendous amount of baggage. Like, you think you have a bad, lousy ex. Let me tell you about my ex.
Yeah.
Cat
This
wins
is
the
true.
terrible exes award for right now.
Yeah, I think she definitely wins the terrible X award for sure.
Oh, interesting. That sounds like a good idea. I might do that too if I find some Mr. Mo decides to tell me, like, this year, after we've been together for years and years, that he really doesn't like ribs. So I've been making ribs a lot because I thought he liked it. He just never said anything about it. Now I'm just going to get ribs to spite him for another 13 years.
I mean, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I mean, if you didn't say anything, it's like,
Well, I'm just like, why are you telling me this now? We've been together for years and years. He's like, well, I mean, whatever. It's food.
yeah, to each their own, I guess. But it's just like, I guess if it was me, like, I would tell you up front, like, hey, by the way, like, I don't like this.
You'd think so, but maybe I've had that, that twitchy Sarah Boone eye too many times where he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to say it's okay. I'm going to say it's okay because I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm gonna back away from this one this time. We're entering the danger zone.
That sounds like
I mean,
it sounds like something my youngest would say. Probably my husband too, to be honest.
But he doesn't. He goes to gas stations. He's carrying out large bags of ice. Because what Chandler had done that night.
Okay. Those are regular bags of ice.
yeah.
I hear large bag of ice. I'm expecting it to be like a 60, 70 pound bag. Those are Quickie Mart size bags.
Would you like a squishy with that?
Hey, I was so nervous about that for Baker's because the person I had was definitely, it could have gone very wrong had I gone literal on the interpretation.
That's funny.
Is what you all probably suspect by now. He had dismembered his parents, or at least started the process, and had to fit them inside of freezers that were in the Halderson home. You'll see some of these freezers, they're clean.
But this doesn't make sense on two different points. One, it's funny, but if you put a body in the freezer, you don't need to have ice.
Yeah.
Because it is in itself a freezer.
Yes. That's what doesn't make a ton of sense unless, and I'm going to make a guess here, that if you put a large hunk of meat in the freezer, that it's probably going to take it a while to freeze or to be kept. So maybe he thought, I'm trying to think like Mr. Halderson here, that maybe he thought that if I get some ice, it's going to speed up the process to keep them cool long enough so they don't start to smell. Because remember,
we're
going to get
thinking
some...
more that that all of the body juice would get on like the roast for next week.
I
But
mean, there
I'm
is
thinking
that.
more practically than
Than I am.
well,
Well, I'm just
yeah,
also thinking that his priorities were that, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna have cat over and I don't want it to smell because I'm needing to get something wet. So, I mean, it's like I'm assuming that's what he was probably thinking.
I possibly I don't know. Why am I thinking he's gonna give a rat's ass about a roast? This man doesn't even know how to make his own Easy Mac.
Yeah, this is also true.
There's still some evidence around. That night, I'm not going to show many photographs for a little bit, just because I think you deserve to kind of be eased into some of the things you're going to see. That night,
Like the
what
freezer.
appears to have happened, what the evidence will show, is Mr. Halderson took items from around the house and began cutting apart his parents. Saw blades covered in Bart and Krista's blood. An axe,
Whiskers, safety
Bart and Krista's
scissors, ironically also.
hand saws, things of that sort covered in Bart and Krista's blood. He cleaned the house as best he could, and you'll hear about that. But still, blood spatter found of Bart and Krista's blood around the house. And he had a plan. It wasn't a well thought out plan, but he had one. And that was he was going to burn.
Underhand
Burn.
shade there.
Ouch. Ow.
Yeah.
Chandler's over here. Is he clowning on me and going to prosecute me? That's double jeopardy and I don't approve.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
he's not wrong
the
though.
bow tie is beginning to grow on me with old Superman Judge, because he has that one little curl out in front. Old Superman would totally wear a bow tie.
Clark, like the oh god, what's his name? The guy who passed away, the wheelchair dude. That one.
Oh no, not Chris. Well, just like
Reeves. there you
if
go.
Superman, got old, decided to become a
Oh.
judge, maybe, stop fighting crime as much, enjoying more of Lois Lane's, casserole.
Jesus.
Oh, I didn't mean it.
I know. My mind went right there.
Or Christopher Reeves at this point, because that's how the joke is. Dead already.
Oh.
He didn't have legs to begin with.
Oh dear.
Too soon.
Burn the remains in the family fireplace there in the house. So it's July 1st. And if any of you remember, 4th of July weekend's pretty hot this year. People in the neighborhood thought it was a little bit weird that so much fireplace was going on. They smelled stuff. One person, this neighborhood's full of retired cops, but one retired cop said, I smelled
God.
like a barbecue, smelled like a pig roast. And he said that just not knowing what it was at the time, talking to the police.
Because it was Long Pig. Oh my God. We could have gotten through this without him throwing that in there.
Yeah.
You could just say, you could have kept it at, people thought it was weird that someone had a toasty fireplace in July.
Yeah. You could have left out the baby back ribs joke. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'll make it, but
Well,
like,
yeah, it's just, well, I mean, did you have to say barbecue?
yeah.
We're not mature enough not to
And
take
that
it
night,
there.
a neighbor who had a security camera behind the Halderson home, way far away, was able to catch something. Because it was pitch black at night, was able to catch just a little glimpse of all the windows in the Halderson house. We have an expert that's going to come in who works with video and light analysis. And he's going to tell you, he was able to figure out which window that was. And the window it was that he was looking at in that camera footage that kind of just
Audio
piqued his
coffee, you
attention.
win.
Was the window by the fireplace. And for many hours over the course of that night, the light flickered, came on, died down, on, down. But in the early morning hours the next day, he'd been up all night doing this.
Please tell me that Chandler wasn't in there doing like weird shadow puppets along with.
I mean, they were doing something, but that wasn't it.
It just, oh my God. We could have just said, you know, the camera. It's like when he goes into details you don't need, because my mind will never